Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to our live broadcast of the Immigrants Bridge Show. We're going to get started in a few minutes. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. You'll notice this is a totally different setup than what I've been having. If you've been tuning in right at the beginning of the show for the last couple days, you've seen me yell at my kids, make funny faces because they're usually doing something behind me to distract me. So I am now broadcasting from my girl cave. So this is my personal space in my house. And it's just like a girly room. It's just all about me, where I can work in peace, meditate, spend some quality time, be inspired and rejuvenated. So that's where we are. That's why you see kind of a different set of decor. I didn't want to do it in this room because outside in the family room, there's so much natural lighting and it's just so much brighter. And I'm also concerned with internet connectivity since this room is kind of off of our master bedroom. So I'm hoping that I don't have any internet issues. So glad to see everyone on today. Please, if you have a question, you can go ahead and start dropping your questions in. I have a few topics of questions that I've gotten throughout the day that I will cover. But let me go ahead and get started. My name is Attorney Bridgette Bennett. I am the CEO and founder of the Bennett Law Center in beautiful Groveland, Florida. Our team consists of a total of 17 people that make the Bennett Law Center the amazing place it is. We are always very happy and pleased to serve our clients and serve our community. We've been around for almost 9 years, and God is so good. We've been blessed enough to open a second location in Orlando that focuses on our business immigration cases. So that's a little bit about me, a little bit about the Bennett Law Center, and we will go ahead and start taking questions. If there's anything you have. I see quite a bit of people on. Shout out to everyone. I see a bunch of people from my team, Attorney S, see Miss Vero, Miss Yessie, Miss Avril. That's most of Team Incredibles. One of the things we do at the Bennett Law Center is that we are divided into different teams that is led by different attorneys and paralegals. So one of the things that will happen if you're a client of the Bennett Law Center is you become a part of the family. You become a part of the crew. You become a part of our team that's led by an attorney and supported by the most amazing paralegals in the whole wide world. So I see the members, all the members of Team Incredibles representing. So thank you all for joining in. I see some other immigration attorneys online. Shout out to Miss Denise, Miss Claudia. Thank y'all for joining in. I see some current clients, some past clients. Gustavo, all the way from Mexico. I love you. We're working on it. Keep the faith. See my aunt, Eric Jurado, representing people from Ocala. Hey, Maurice. How are you? So good to see everyone. So let me see if you have any questions, and I will go ahead and make sure that I can answer them. So I see some questions coming in. Okay, this is a great question. So we have a question. Hello, I have 5 children. I'm assuming these are United States citizen children. And I have been here in the United States for 14 years. Do I qualify for anything? En español, la pregunta es, estoy aquí por 14 años y tengo 5 niños americanos aquí, si yo cualifica por algo. La pregunta es muy complicado, ¿ok? Porque hay muchas cosas, depende. So, no sé las edades de sus hijos, no sé cómo usted entre los Estados Unidos, no sé si usted tiene hijos que tiene problemas de salud, problemas de aprendizaje o otras cosas así. So quizás hay opciones. Mucha gente que tiene hijo que nació aquí puede arreglar por una ley que se llama la ley de 10 años en el calle. En la ley, el nombre correcto es cancelación de removal. So, por ejemplo, hay 5 requisitos. Número 1, que usted está aquí en los Estados Unidos más de 10 años. Número 2, que tiene familiares cualificados como sus hijos que nací aquí, esposo o esposa, o madre o padre que son ciudadanos o residentes. Número 3 es que ustedes son buenas personas, trabajando, pagando los taxes, cuida a su niño y ayuda a la comunidad. Número 4 es que no ha sido cometido ningún tipo de felonía o otros tipos de crímenes muy serios. 5, más importante, pero más difícil para probar, es que si ellos deportan, sus familiares cualificados va a sufrir en una manera peor y diferente que todo el mundo en el mismo bote. So, en mi oficina tomo casos cuando una persona está aquí, una persona puede demostrar que son buenas personas, tiene familiares cualificados y los niños o esposo o esposa tiene problemas graves o crónicos de salud, necesita extra ayuda en la escuela, tiene clases especial, tiene autismo, tiene síndrome de Down y otras cosas así. So, eso es un caso muy específico. Hay muchos beneficios. Puede arreglar aquí en los Estados Unidos, puede obtener un permiso de trabajo, seguro, licencia, pero absolutamente es buena idea para hablar con un profesional para evaluar todos los requisitos para verificar si usted cualifica. So that was a lot in Spanish, so let me repeat the question that was asked and I will answer that in English. The question was, and I think I already repeated it, but hey, I've been here for a really long time. I've been here for 14 years and I have 5 American children. Can I get anything? The answer, it depends on a lot of things. It depends on how you entered the United States. It depends on the ages of your children. It depends on whether you had a petition filed for you before April 30th of 2001. It depends on if you have children in the armed forces. It depends on whether you have children or a qualifying relative such as a spouse or parent that has significant medical issues to determine if you qualify for anything. So I kind of geared the answer to that question towards whether or not you qualify for something called the 10-year law. So in the streets, people call it the 10-year law. They just know if you've been here for 10 years, you have a couple kids, you can get your green card that way. Well, it's pretty complicated, and in general, there are 5 requirements to get a green card in this way. Number 1, you have to be able to prove that you've been here for at least 10 years. Number 2, you have to prove that you have family members that qualify, such as a U.S. citizen parent, spouse, or children. Number 3, you have to prove that you're a good person and that you deserve the opportunity to be here in the United States. Number 4, you haven't committed certain types of felonies or crimes involving moral turpitude that would bar you from proving good moral character. So things like driving without a license, those really don't have any bearings on this type of case. And number 5, most important, is that you'd have to be able to demonstrate in front of an immigration judge that you qualify for cancellation of removal because your family member would suffer exceptional and extremely unusual hardship. So many of you may be familiar with waiver cases where the hardship that is required is up to this level. When you're in front of an immigration judge fighting this type of case, the hardship is up to this level. So it's an unusual amount of hardship. So when we're evaluating cases in our office, we generally look to see whether your qualifying family member, let's use a U.S. citizen child, does the child have something significant like autism? Are they on the spectrum? Do they have Down syndrome? Do they require some type of surgery? Do they have cancer? Do they have some type of chronic condition for which there is no cure? Do they have special needs in school? Are they on an individual educational program? Have they been declared disabled by the Social Security Administration? So these are things that we think about whether you have a strong case or not. Thank God we are really good at these cases, and we have been able to help a lot of families who would not otherwise qualify because it doesn't require a United States citizen spouse. Children count, but again, they have to meet that very high threshold of hardship. So if this is something that you think you may qualify for, or know someone that has a special needs child, or has a spouse that can't work, or they take care of their parents who are disabled for some reason, those may be good candidates, but we'd have to evaluate the situation. If you are interested, please connect with some members of my staff that are online right now. They will give you the phone numbers, or you can send them a direct message to set up a consultation, and we will give you an answer. And one thing that I can always say is that if you have a case, I will tell you. If you don't have a case, I will tell you. So either way, we're going to give you sincere and correct legal information so that you can make a decision regarding your case. I see a couple of other questions coming in, so let me see what's here. Oh, this is a great question. My husband has had his green card since 1983. He's never been in trouble with the law. He lives here in Florida since 1985. He's been married for 30 plus years, has 3 kids. The question is, he's 56. The question is it hard for him to get citizenship? So it depends. That's the most famous attorney answer, right? It depends. And it truly does. So there are things that I would need to understand, such as your husband's travel history. Has he been out of the country for more than 6 months at a time? Looking at his age, does he speak English? Remember, part of the test is that there is an English requirement. So generally, I know a lot of Spanish-speaking people that have green cards for a long time, but they don't want to take the test because it's in English. Well, there are some exceptions. So for example, if the person meets the 1555 rule or the 2050 rule, meaning if you've been in the United States for at least 20 years, and you are, what's the age? 50 or 50, yes, 50 and 20, then you don't have to take the exam in English. You can take it in Spanish. So there are exceptions, and based on the small amount of facts that you've given me, your husband probably would be a great candidate. And why should he do it? Because this gives him the right to vote come November. Also, it means that he will never ever be able to be deported. I have lots of clients that have had their green cards for a long time, and something comes up, and now we have to represent them in deportation. So it is always a good thing to do if you have the opportunity to become a citizen. So en español, la pregunta es si mi esposo no tiene ningún problema, tiene residencia desde 83, él tiene 56 años, estamos casados mucho tiempo, si él va a tener problemas aplicando por la ciudadanía. La respuesta es depende. So, normalmente bajo de esas circunstancias, la más gran problema es si la persona habla inglés, porque parte del examen de la ciudadanía es que la persona tiene que tomar el examen en inglés. Pero si tiene más de 15 años con residencia, tiene más de 55 años, puede aplicar bajo de una excepción. So, todavía tiene que tomar el examen, pero puede tomar el examen en su lenguaje. So, cualquier lenguaje usted habla, puede tomar el examen. So, bajo de esas circunstancias, yo pienso que esa persona tiene buena posibilidad a hacer ciudadanía. Definitivamente, si tiene oportunidad para aplicar por su ciudadanía, por favor aplica. ¿Por qué? Hay dos beneficios. Número uno, puede votar en noviembre, ¿ok? Puede votar. Segundamente, cuando tiene ciudadanía, ellos no pueden deportar. Yo tengo muchos clientes en el proceso de deportación. Ellos tienen residencia muchos años, pero nunca hacen la ciudadanía. Y después ellos tienen cualquier problema y ahora está en el proceso de deportación en frente de los jueces en la Corte de Inmigración. So, si hay oportunidad para hacer ciudadanía, por favor, hacer su ciudadanía. Okay? Another question. Oh, this is a great question. So my husband is in the process of getting his green card. He got his work authorization already, and we're just waiting for the interview. Can he apply for unemployment or not? So the answer is yes, and this will not affect his immigration status. If you have proper work authorization, and you have your valid social security number, and if you lose your job during this time of coronavirus, he qualifies under the laws of your state, he does qualify for unemployment, and this will not have an effect on his immigration case. La pregunta es si mi esposo es en el proceso de arreglando y ahora él tiene el permiso de trabajo y estamos solamente esperando la entrevista con inmigración. Es posible que él puede aplicar por unemployment porque el trabajo está cerrado. Y mi respuesta es sí. Si la persona tiene permiso de trabajo, tiene seguro y perder el trabajo por el virus, esas personas pueden aplicar por unemployment bajo de las leyes del estado y eso no va a afectar el caso de inmigración. Hey, Andrew Priest, all the way from Cayman Islands. Nice to see you here. Hey, Miss Elaine. Hey, Attorney Rachel. Hey, Miss Yessie. Great to see you guys. Hey, Miss Syria. Okay, here's another question. I love this group. You guys are throwing all these questions to me. I can't even get to the questions that I've planned for. Hola, Brigitte. ¿Quién puede ser patrocinador para alguien que quiere obtener la residencia y puede tener el joint sponsor problemas en el futuro o no tiene que preocuparse por ello? Okay. Pregunta fantástico. So let me start in English. So the question is, hey, who can be a joint sponsor to help someone during the process, and will that joint sponsor have problems in the future? Is that something they should be worried about? So this is a great question because and it's a very hot topic right now in immigration. Joint sponsors, the truth is a joint sponsor is signing a paper stating that if the intended immigrant, something happens and they can't work, that they will be responsible for supporting that person. So it is a great responsibility. That responsibility does not end unless the immigrant becomes a United States citizen, the immigrant has worked at least 10 years or 40 quarters here in the United States, or the immigrant dies. So it is a big deal to be a joint sponsor. However, and you can, even if you sponsor someone now, you can still sponsor someone in the future. It all depends on the person's income. So the joint sponsor really needs to be able to trust whoever they're saying that they're going to support. In reality, though, I'll tell you the truth. I have not seen, at least not in my practice or any other attorneys that I'm friends with, I haven't really seen people go after people for joint sponsorship. I think this might change now that the laws have been solidified since February of this year. But in the last 9-10 years, I haven't seen it. The only context in which I have heard of this even happening is in the context of a divorce. So in a husband and wife where let's say the husband sponsors the wife, they get a divorce, and the wife in the divorce proceedings can request support from the spouse because literally he signed and said that he would support her until she becomes a citizen, until she dies, or until she works for 10 years in this country. So en español rápido, es que una persona que es el sponsor es una gran obligación. So, la persona tiene que saber quién es la persona que va a soportar, ¿ok? Es un contrato entre el gobierno, entre la persona y entre el sponsor. So, ese contrato no puede romper sin tres cosas. Uno, la persona murió. Dos, la persona trabaja como 10 años aquí en los Estados Unidos o la persona hace ciudadanía. So es algo que la gente tiene que, pensar mucho si quiere soportar a otra gente. Pero la verdad es que la mayoría de la gente no hay ningún problema con el sponsor, porque las personas ir aquí en los Estados Unidos para trabajar, no para depender en el gobierno o las otras personas. So, es muy raro si hay problemas. Now, donde lo que yo veo problemas es en caso de, por ejemplo, hay un marido y uno está en el proceso de divorcio. So, por ejemplo, la esposa está divorciando el esposo. Ella puede decir, ok, usted me dijo que va a soportarme, so usted tiene que pagarme dinero. Eso es la única tiempo cuando yo veo problemas con joint sponsors, pero por mayoría del tiempo no hay problemas. So, si una persona que hay confianza en la persona, que la persona va a trabajar muy duro aquí en los Estados Unidos, no hay problema. Y puede hacer sponsorship por más de una persona. So, quizás usted está arreglando su padre y también su esposo. Es posible, pero depende de su income. Okay, let's see who else is here. Hi, Miss Karen. Hey, Noel. Hey, Aaron. Hey, Miss Marina. Enrique. Good to see you guys. Here's another question. Can a 17-year-old apply for her papers? Both of her parents are not here. La pregunta es si una persona que tiene 17 años puede aplicar por papeles, los padres no están aquí en los Estados Unidos. It really, really depends on the circumstances of that person. By themselves, just like that, it doesn't appear that they could just get up and apply for something. I'd have to see what section of the law they might fall under. For a 17-year-old, the typical application would be DACA. Maybe in the future, if they get married to a United States citizen or resident, that could be another way of getting papers. But just as a 17-year-old, it's still, we have to look under what section. Perhaps that person is the victim of a crime, where we can do a U visa. So there are lots of considerations, but maybe there are options and maybe there's not. It really is fact specific. So, una persona que tiene 17 años, la mayoría de los clientes que tiene esa edad aplica por DACA por el momento, pero yo necesito más información porque no sé si la persona va a casar con ciudadano en el futuro. No sé si la persona es víctima de un crimen y puede cualificar por una visa de U. No sé qué opción tiene esa persona. Eso yo definitivamente necesito más información para dar una respuesta más concreta. pero normalmente una persona de esa edad aplica por DACA. Hey, Antonio. Okay. So someone here says they have a child that is considered disabled in the school. Then I would suggest you definitely contact us for an appointment so I can really evaluate your case. Okay, so one of the questions, I had a few consultations today and I got a very interesting question. I'm not sure if the person is on the broadcast right now, but the question is, what if someone is filing a petition for, let's say, a husband is filing for a wife, and the petitioning spouse dies? What happens in case your process started but it didn't get done because the person died? Well, there are several different types of laws to address that. Humanitarian reinstatement. We've done many different cases like this, and you actually can apply with immigration under 2 different sections of the law for them to try to address your situation and reopen the case. I'm so grateful that we have been very successful with these types of cases. So even if the petitioner dies, it doesn't automatically mean that your case is going in the garbage and you're done for. There are 2 specific sections of the law, depending on if you're in the country or outside of the country, that you can use. So for example, we just got one approved this month for a young kid. He has DACA. His dad is a green card holder, and his dad actually went to Mexico for a funeral. And when he went for the funeral during this time, he had already started filing the paper for his wife and his son, his children. Well, guess what happened? While he was in Mexico for this funeral, he got into a car accident and he died outside of the country in Mexico. And so if you can imagine, the wife is here, our client is here, the DACA kid, and the papers could not be completed because the father died while outside of the country. Thankfully, our rock star paralegal on Team Defenders, Michelle, she was able to put together all of the requirements for that case. We sent it out, and we got a very, very quick response. I think we sent it out before the end of December, before we closed the office for the holidays, and he already has been reapproved. So we're very happy for that. Normally, these types of cases can take up to a year. We've had that situation also. So this one got approved pretty quickly, but it also can take a long time. So la respuesta en español es que si la persona murió durante el proceso, si el caso automáticamente está terminado. La respuesta es no. Hay 2 partes de la ley que aunque un petitioner murió, todavía puede continuar el caso. So, en mi oficina tenemos casos así y gracias a Dios tenemos una aprobación ese mes bajo de las mismas circunstancias. Uno de mis clientes, él tiene DACA, el padre es residente y estaba pidiendo la mamá y los niños. Pues él ir a México por un funeral, no sé cómo se dice en español, pero él ir a México y durante el visita a México, él murió en un accidente. So, ellos pensaban que automáticamente el proceso de la mamá y el proceso de los hijos está terminado. Pero en mi oficina preparamos los paquetes para inmigración, explicando que el deseo más grande del papá es para que la esposa y los niños puedan arreglar. Y gracias a Dios el caso está aprobado en como 4 meses. Es un milagro porque normalmente toma casi un año para una decisión, pero ahora él está arreglado y el papá murió desgraciadamente. Any other questions that I have missed? Let's see. When do I think interviews will start up again? We are not sure. We think probably sometime in May. La pregunta es cuándo va a tener citas otra vez por residencia, por ciudadanía. Yo pienso que probablemente en mayo, no sé exactamente, cada día. Simplemente estamos esperando las noticias de inmigración. Great. I will do one more question because this was a very interesting consultation that I had today. So there was this guy, his mother was filing for him as an older person, an older child. He was already over 21, but unmarried. So many of you know that when you're going through the process as a single person that is not an immediate relative, you cannot get married, right? Raise your hand if you know, while you're in the process, you cannot get married. So this person made a consultation with me today because he was denied for his citizenship. The reason he was denied is because immigration said, well, you actually are not even a green card holder because we approved your petition back in December 2005. You signed a paper stating that you understand that if you get married before you get to the United States, we are canceling your green card. So this was in December 2005. He's approved and he signed this paper. Hi, Lady D. So guess what he did? He was supposed to leave the Dominican Republic in April 26th of 2006. You know what he did? He got married on April 24th of 2006. So he's been in this country for 14 years thinking he's had a green card. And he filed for his citizenship last year. And last week he got the denial stating that he doesn't even have a green card because he got married during the time before he actually was admitted to the United States. So if you know of people that are in the process and they are single, please tell them do not get married until the process is over. Because now what's likely going to happen to this gentleman is that they're going to issue what's called an NTA, a notice to appear, and he's probably going to have to go in front of an immigration judge and fight for his green card. Fortunately, there is a waiver for misrepresentation, which I don't even know if he qualifies for a waiver at this point, but it's a mess. So please, if you don't take anything else from, good evening, Attorney D. If you don't take anything else from this, if someone is in the process and they're a single person, tell them do not get married because that can ruin everything. Imagine being here for 14 years and now not only is your citizenship denied, you're probably going to have to try to fight your case before an immigration judge. So that's what this gentleman is facing. Voy a decir en español. Una de las cosas muy importante que yo quiero que, si es posible, comunicar eso a su familia, su vecinos, sus amigos, es cuando una persona está en proceso y, el caso es por una persona soltera, por favor, no casar. Tiene que casar y espero hasta que el proceso está completa. Porque si usted casar durante el proceso, va a terminar todo, va a quitar todo. So, por ejemplo, hoy yo tengo una consulta con un hombre de Dominican Republic y ese hombre me dijo que la visa estaba, la mamá pide a él como persona soltera. La mamá pide a él y él estaba aprobado después de esperando 8 años, ¿ok? Él estaba esperando 8 años y él estaba aprobado en diciembre de 2005. Diciembre de 2005. Durante la entrevista, él firma un papel que dice que él no puede casar hasta que él estaba aprobado y está en los Estados Unidos. So, él tiene planes a salir del país el 26 de abril en 2006. Pues ese hombre casar el 24 de abril de 2006. 2 días antes de él debe salir el país. So, ahora él está en los Estados Unidos como residente por 14 años. El año pasado él aplica por ciudadanía y guess what? El caso de ciudadanía está negado y inmigración está diciendo que, señor, usted firma un papel diciendo que usted entiende que no puede casar y 2 días antes de entrar a los Estados Unidos usted casar. So, estamos negando su ciudadanía y también tampoco usted no tiene residencia. So, más probable es que ese hombre va a recibir una carta para presentar en frente de los jueces en Orlando y tenemos que pelear con el juez. Porque ahora él tiene gran problema. So, el punto es si en caso de que alguna persona está pidiéndote como una persona soltera, no puede casar en ninguna forma. ¿Ok? So please tell your friends, tell your family, if someone is filing for you, before you go and get married, please ask a professional because this can have a big impact on your case. So this gentleman, he doesn't even have citizenship and he definitely doesn't even have his green card anymore. Okay? So that is a terrible situation that I dealt with today. But you know, life happens. So just make sure you get professional advice. I know sometimes people are like, I don't want to pay a consultation fee. I don't want to pay. But it is better for you to spend a little bit now to get the correct information than to go ahead and do something and end up paying more. Here at the Bennett Law Center, our consultation fee is minimal. It's $100. Okay? It's $100 for you to get honest information about your case. So if you are interested in getting a consultation with me, please go ahead and let us know. I have several of our BLC crew members here online. They will drop our telephone number or you can send them a direct message and they would be happy to set up a consultation where we can get into more detailed discussion of the specifics of your case. Another thing to know is that immigration is federal law. So we can take cases all over the country, all over the world. Today, I had a consultation via WhatsApp, video calling on WhatsApp to someone in Jamaica. I have another consult with someone in Connecticut scheduled. So immigration is federal. The same law applies to all 50 states. So we are able to take those types of cases as well. If for some reason I was not able to get to your question today, please join us again tomorrow and I will make sure that I address your questions. But I am so grateful that you have taken this half an hour to listen to some hot topics in immigration law and to just be informed. Education is the most powerful tool that we have. And it's better that knowledge is power. So I am so happy to be able to share a little bit of immigration knowledge with you. And hopefully we can see people achieving the American dream. So estoy explicando que inmigración, las leyes es federal. So yo puedo tomar casos en todos los estados, ¿ok? En todo el mundo. Podemos comunicar por el teléfono, aunque la oficina está cerrado, todavía estamos trabajando en casa y eso es una oportunidad por mí para dar información gratis a mucha gente porque educación, sabiduría es poder y yo quiero que usted hace cosas que es beneficial en su caso y en su vida. Gracias para tuning in. I don't know how to say that in Spanish. Gracias agradezco mucho su tiempo y nos vemos mañana. Si yo no puedo dar una respuesta hoy, por favor, mañana regresa conmigo y yo puedo dar una respuesta. Gracias por su tiempo. Thank you, everyone. So great to see so many familiar faces. Miss Jennifer, Mr. Sams, Miss Maureen. Hey, Joanne. It's another brilliant immigration attorney out in Jacksonville. Maria, Rico, her family was one of the very first families I helped once I opened my office. Thank you guys for taking a chance on me when I didn't even have an office. I appreciate it a lot. I appreciate the referrals you've sent my way. Isabel, Yasmin, Irene, hola. Jorge, duele mi cabeza. Jorge, ¿cómo está? Hey, Miss Carol, thank you for joining in. Miss Nancy Neftali, Charlene. That's someone I went to middle school with. That's pretty cool. So thank you guys for calling in. Love you all. Stay safe and see you tomorrow for another episode. If you want to send me direct messages to our Facebook address book, you can go ahead and do that to Bennett Law Center with your questions. I'll make sure that I address those questions tomorrow. But thanks a lot. And I think I might stay in my girl cave. That way I don't have to kill my husband or my children for making noise when I'm doing my broadcast. So this is my girl cave. This is my little space where I can kind of zone out and tune everybody out. So I hope you enjoyed your time with me here today, and I will see you tomorrow.